Hi again and welcome back to another video. This time it's going to be about the low-end product. The low product is very important together with the traditional because of their large market share, and as a result they are very profitable, especially in the first few rounds of the simulation. So if you're going to do well in those two segments, the traditional and the low, you are usually going to do well in the simulation as a whole. So let's talk about the different criteria. The first one with a 53% importance, which is very high, is the price. This is a very price sensitive segment, but we are not going to talk about it together today on this video because the price is a marketing decision, not an R&D one. So let's move on to the next one, which is the age. The age is the most important after the price with 24% importance, with a required age of 7. And the next one is the ideal position with 16%. The last one is the MTBF with only 7%, meaning that it is going to be a low priority for us. So we are not going to focus on it. We are going to focus on the age and the position, quite similar to how we handle the traditional product. Here we can see a reminder that the ideal position is not in the center, but it is at the top left part of the circle. And also we can see that we get the best score, the maximum score, when the age is around 7, and when we are above or below it, our score, the customer satisfaction is being reduced. So let's do a quick recap to what we learned up to this point. We don't want to change the position. I said it a few times before, and I will say it a few more times because this is very important. In the low-end product, we don't want to revise it unless we absolutely have to. Usually, the correct play is to not change the position and to just let the product age. We are only going to revise it once throughout the simulation. Usually at rounds 3 or 4, depends on your automation, so you need to check in round 3, see if the results are good enough in your opinion. If not, then probably you will need to do it in the next round. And when you do revise the position, ideally you want to make sure that the age goes from 9.3 to 4.7. Again, this is quite similar to what we did with the traditional product, and we will talk about it later in a few slides down the road. The position is important, but less important than the age, and realistically, we also can't really control it. So we just want to focus on staying within the circle throughout the simulation. And MTBF is low importance, so whenever you have something better to do, you should do it and not worry about this. Personally, I always prefer to have the maximum MTBF, but you can do whatever you want. You can reduce it, you can keep it at any other value, at the starting value. Either way, it's not a mistake and also not very important, especially when you compare it to the other criteria. So let's do a quick explanation. When we go from 9.3 and the revision hits and the age is being cut in half, it goes down to roughly 4.7. So before the revision, the age is 7 plus 2.3, and after the revision it's going to be 7 minus 2.3. So we are at the minimal value and we are as close as possible to the required age. Any other revision time will give us suboptimal results. Usually the game lasts 8 rounds. So when that is the case, then the position of 4.7, 15.3 is really important, and we need to be familiar with this because this is going to be the edge of the circle. If you have different properties, the game is not 8 rounds somehow, then you need to do a relatively simple calculation in order to find the edge. So we need to know this position because this is where we are going to revise our product, or if we decide to introduce a new low-end product in the beginning of the game, or if we're going to move the traditional product to the low-end segment, then in all of those cases we want to aim to that to that point in order to make sure that at the end of the last round, we are still going to stay within the circle. So let's do a quick recap in order to end this video. We don't want to change the position at the first round, even though we are not at the ideal position. We are just going to let the product age, and this is it. This is the last time that I'm going to say this. Very important. I hope that I got the point across. Don't touch the position. We're only going to revise it once in the simulation. We are going to do it on rounds 3 or 4, and we are going to set the position to the end position, which is going to be performance 4.7 and size 15.3. Then TBF, even though my personal preference is to set it to the maximum value, whatever you do, you can do it. It's not a mistake. You can reduce it. You can keep it at the position that it starts. It's not a mistake, and also, to be honest, not very important. So do whatever you feel right. Maybe your professor is trying to hint you that he preferred some way, so you should probably do what he says in this case. So that's it. Those are the main issue that you need to keep in mind when you are handling the low-end product.